Hello everybody, welcome back to the cabin, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. You know, whenever I get two emails from two different people in the same day about the same topic, it makes me think somebody out there in the YouTube world or somewhere on social media has brought up a topic and I'm getting kind of the feedback, maybe asking me a question. In this case, I got 4 different emails over the stretch of 2 days about roughly the same topic. 2 of them were kind of asking questions. One was just kind of going back and forth about a particular topic, and then one person was giving me advice telling me I'm doing everything wrong. So I thought I'd take a minute today and address those emails just a little bit, because I think it's as relevant or more relevant than it's ever been. Even though this debate really was hot and heavy about 2 years ago, I think it's coming back, and I think it's worth visiting today, because reselling no doubt is changing, and some people feel like they are in a position where they have to make a choice about how they go forward. So I want to talk about that. I'm going to only pull 3 items today, and then we're going to get to the topic. The reason I'm pulling 3 today is because I absolutely have to get these shipped out today, and I've got to go do something with Turner. And I think I'll have enough time to film the rest of this video later today, but in case I don't, I'm going to do this here. This Emerson VCR, this was actually our VCR that we used to watch movies. I used to watch movies, VHS tapes with Reagan downstairs when she was little, not so much with Turner, and we just don't use it anymore. So we decided to sell this one. At least I knew it was tested and working. Sold really quickly, $40 plus shipping. As I was looking for the next item, I peeked up here real quick just to make sure I have my numbers right. It's $39.95 plus shipping. And I saw a comment, so I thought, oh, maybe it's a viewer sale. But it's not. It is a VCR, so it is more than likely a drop shipper. They have a ton of feedback. They put, please do not send an invoice in it. It is a gift, which is, of course, not true. Well, I shouldn't say that. It is very unlikely that it is a gift. It is a drop shipped item, which means they don't want the invoice in there because they're charging them far more than what I just sold that for. But that does have a tiny bit to do with what I want to talk about, and that is business. And, you know, I do think jungle print is what I'm looking for right here. These are getting low, y'all. I think we're going to pull out the other ones. I might leave that here for now. There might be another one. So, that's not Sophie. That's Wallen wants out. So let me let you out real quick. This one sold, what's the jungle print going for? $12.95 plus shipping. Come on. There you go. Just a little context here. I'll pull one more item before we get into the topic. You know, I've always advocated, especially 2 years ago, for those of you who haven't watched me in a long time, I've always advocated for you to do reselling the way that you want to do it. But we're going to look at 2, maybe 3 different paths of reselling as it corresponded with these people and what their desires were and how it might fit them. So I've always said, hey, do it the way you want to do it. For one, you have to be happy doing it, unless you have to have the money. And then there's a different consideration. And people, obviously, you have to provide for your families first. And so when I give advice like this, it's hard to do it. And I often don't do it, but I try to give context and say, hey, this doesn't apply. But I do think that a lot of people are faced, whether it's this economy that we're in, it seems like people are hurting for money a little bit more in their messages than I've got over the last, 4 years. Seems like, I don't know if it's the economy or if it's reselling, but some people are hurting out there and they're trying to figure out ways to boost their income even more than they already have. And these 2 these 2 philosophies, if you will, have been coming up more and more. Heading back to the Harley bin back here. Haven't been back here in a while. See if I can find the right one. It's always a pain. This Harley bin is always a pain in my butt, because that's not even the Harley bin. Hey, there's something we haven't sold in a long time. That's crazy. Remember that? We used to sell those like crazy. Any rate, the Harley bin, I'm going to have to dig through there and find it. All right, it took a minute, but I dug them out of there. These are some Harley. I don't even know what they are. I've listed these things. We put chain, dog collar. I think there's some, I don't know what the heck people use these things for. Listed it as a chain, choker, 18-inch belt, dog collar, whatever the heck you got to get in there to get the keywords to get these things sold. These are selling for $20 plus shipping. And I just realized that was a viewer. And it's going out to Bonnie. So longtime viewer, love to watch all your videos and seeing your family. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Well, I appreciate that very much. That was the last of the Jungle Dammit dolls. Thank you. I want to mention this before I ship it. this is one of those examples where you make good money doing flat rate shipping, which is what I've been advocating for lately. And I'm not telling people to do it. By the way, this isn't the choice we're talking about today. It's something totally different. But I just thought I'd show you this really quick because I just shipped it. I charge $15.99 for smaller VCRs. And this one's going to South Carolina. It's cost me $7.88, even though it weighs over 5 pounds. So, you know, you make money on a flat rate sometimes, and sometimes when they go out west, you don't make any money. Or sometimes, every once in a blue moon, you lose money, but not too often. So, I'm loving it. By the way, I also want to mention that that box right there, this 15 by 12 by 10, it's at Walmart. And I know Walmart's not always the cheapest, but let me tell you what, this box is awesome. It is the perfect box for smaller VCRs, and you can just cut it down a little bit and it's perfect. All right, I'm obviously in a different shirt here. This is the next morning. I never did get back out here, so now I've got a lot of work to do today, but that's okay. I want to get to the topic. Now, first, it's not what we've already talked about here. There's a bunch of questions, decisions that a lot of resellers kind of face at the new beginning of a new year, and I want to get into a couple of those, and one in particular. But it's not like, you know, these non-existential questions. Like, I've been talking a lot about flat rate shipping, and I've noticed a lot of people say they're trying to do it, and some are loving it, some are hating it. Look, you don't have to. You can succeed with free shipping, with calculated shipping, with flat rate shipping. Everybody's in a different location in the country, and different factors matter, including what you're selling. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm also not talking about the platform question. There are a lot of sellers that are, you know, debating, should I start cross-listing? Or should I just focus on one platform? And that one, of course, would probably be eBay. But there's a lot of people who have shifted and focused completely on whatnot. I know a couple of people who recently have done that, 2 of them, and one is having great success, and they're not a social media influencer. The other one is having some mediocre success, but they're pushing hard. So, you know, that's not the kind of question I'm talking about today either. But the platform question, or the multi-platform question versus the one platform question, does tie in a little bit to this, what I've heard from from 3 people, I think, over the last few days. And that is niching down or being an everything seller in this new environment where you do have choices, including those multiple platform choices. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to mix that in as I pull a couple orders. But the first message I got was somebody, it was actually really nice. They sent me a message to thank me last year for introducing them to my reseller Genie. They said they signed up and all that. And then they got into a slightly different topic. Here's the one I'm looking for. New York Mets Cabbage Patch doll, filled very quickly, put it out there at a really good price because we are in serious sell mode right now, because that is part of our strategy up until the end of February. And that one sold for $25 plus shipping. And that Cabbage Patch there actually reminded me of something that relates very well to this topic. I'll get to in a second. But this message sent this, and they said, hey, one of the things that they really enjoyed about it, my reseller Genie, was the fact that they absolutely break down those numbers completely for you. And they realized that they were selling, they were an everything seller, and they were selling in every category, but there were 2 or 3 categories that really, really made them the money, the big bang for their buck, good ROI, good average sell-through rate, although they found that info somewhere else. But, you know, that's the kind of consideration I've seen now multiple times this week. When am I going to stop selling? And I am an everything seller, and I am going to probably continue to sell everything, but I have cut out a couple of different categories, at least to some degree, in the buying side. I still have some of those things that I'm going to sell off, like vacuum cleaners and stuff. But for the most part, I don't buy them unless they're a crazy good deal. Now, a lot of people have been telling me for years, hey, you would be far better off as a reseller to niche down into 1 category or to 2 categories. You can streamline your systems. I think my system is pretty streamlined for being an everything reseller. But nothing compares to being streamlined in a very niched down category, because you can I know people who only ship out of 1 box, the shoe box, because they ship shoes. Well, they might do a few other things, but you get the point. You can really streamline your business and make a big bang for your buck. Now, that's dependent on a few things. And this person sounds like they really should niche down into 1 category and stop being an everything seller. And the number 1 priority for that, in my opinion, is to have a consistent source or multiple consistent sources for that niche down type item. Being an expert in something, I think, is extremely beneficial. You know the category inside and out. If you can find ample supply of it and make enough money and you enjoy it, niching down probably is the best way to resell. But there are all kinds of other considerations, including whether you enjoy it or not. I would hate that. If all I did was sell shoes every single day, I'd rather teach. I enjoy teaching. I'd rather do that than sell shoes every day. It's more of an experience for me, and I enjoy the heck out of it. Plus, it matches my content, which, you know, I mean, what kind of a garage sale channel could be if you're only looking for shoes? You know, only so many people want to watch that. Now, I'm a treasure hunter, and a lot of folks out there are treasure hunters too, so their buying patterns and their hobby, if you will, doesn't make it possible really for them to niche down, and some people just don't want to. So I'm not telling everybody to do that out there, but for some people, I think it is a consideration for this year. Battle Armor, Skeletor, $12, I think, or maybe $12.95 plus shipping. So back to the Cabbage Patch for a minute. You've heard me talk about Pittsburgh Picker and Sarah, Adam and Sarah, Daily Cabbage, and they have niched down to some degree. They still sell a lot of stuff, but she's so good at Cabbage Patch that now she's created sourcing methods and all kinds of stuff for Cabbage Patch where she's getting top dollar for Cabbage Patch, and she knows it inside and out. And it's been very beneficial for her. By the way, go follow her over there on Instagram. You can follow Pittsburgh Picker on YouTube. And it's really beneficial for them to do it that way. And she also tends to enjoy it. So there are all kinds of categories. I know there's people who watch this who only sell clothing, for instance. And one thing that was a little eye-opening to me, and I know it's on Dibdit, so Dibdit is already niched down to 80s, 90s, 2000s nostalgia. But the people who have applied to sell over there, when I look at their eBay stores, they're already niched down on eBay too. And so that got me thinking about the new options for selling platforms where you can find the right eyeballs for your particular niche or create that yourself like Sarah did over there on Instagram. She created the niche for herself in social media, and I'm not saying that's for everybody. But the fact that there are so many options to sell your stuff, if you are niched down, you can find the right platforms really specifically in something like District where you find the exact right platform. Look at all the folks on Knickknacks, for instance, who are selling glass and stuff like that, and they're finding the right eyeballs. The audience might not be as big, but they're finding the right people, and they're still selling it over on eBay as well, and they basically only sell that stuff, and they're finding success because there are so many more options out there now than there used to be. So in order to give any kind of advice to these people in these messages, since I am not a niche down seller, I am an everything seller, and I have no plans on niching down, but I do think it's right for some people. For those of you out there who are niched down, put the benefits below for people to look at. Now this is going to take me a second. I'm looking for the 52 length. There's one. I wonder if there's many. I'll double check it in a minute, but there's 3 Virginia Tech sales, and they came 2 and then 1 a little later, and I believe it may be a viewer. So let me find these first. This one is a Hokie jersey sold for $38 plus shipping. It is a Nike team jersey. I gotta make sure it's the right one. And there's another little strategy as it relates to this that I've seen a lot of people who are in my little tight-knit community of pickers that I go out with, and they've started to do this too. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. But let's find the other 52 plus 4. This one sold for 30, I don't know. Why do I not remember this stuff anymore? I'm getting old, y'all, I guess. $34.19 plus shipping. And then there's a sock monkey here. It's sold too, and that one sold, I don't know what that sold for. That one sold for $9.95 plus shipping, so it is a combo. I don't see a message on here, but I'm going to search because I remember seeing an email for a message from somebody. All right, I can't find it, so that's what happens when it gets in the messaging system. It's a pain in the butt, y'all. I should do a little better job of that, but I usually just read if there's a message on the purchase. But Debbie, I do remember you. I think you said this is for your grandson, maybe a special needs grandson. I cannot remember what you said, so my apologies. But thank you for that purchase. We really do appreciate it, and I hope he enjoys it. So one benefit, well, I don't know if it's a benefit, but one strategy to use if you do decide to niche down and you're still a treasure hunter and you come across those finds is to still buy them and to create a partnership with somebody. There's a bunch of local pickers that call me up and say, hey, this stuff's here. You know, they don't buy it, but they know I buy it because they're already niched down. And if I find stuff that they like, I'll contact them and say, hey, go check this out. Or sometimes I'll buy it for them because I know I'll see them probably later that day. And I'll give it to them and they'll give me this, or we'll do a trade or a buy or something that makes sense for both people. My uncle is a very big golf club seller. And so I've sold golf clubs here and there, and I certainly sell club head covers and golf related stuff. And so I made a trade with him, or I'm going to make some trades with him for golf clubs for stuff that I really enjoy to sell. Now, I'm not a niche down seller, so I still want to, you know, find good deals on clubs and sell them. But from time to time, it'll work out, and it works out for both of us. Really quick before I get into this more here and pull a few more items. I've already pulled some today that we packaged up, and that was a Whatnot auction right there that the girls packaged up. Actually, my wife packaged that up, and Reagan helped me with the auction. But 925 Thrift. This one's going to Jen's Gems, Jensgems, and some numbers, I believe. So congratulations. Send me an email, commonwealth@gmail.com. And you can, thank you to Ari Gold. You can find those over on Amazon, I believe, if you're interested in those. He sent them to us for free for this audience for me to give away. He didn't give me any money for it, by the way, in case those of you out there who wonder about that kind of stuff. So he was generous enough to do that. He's a small business person, and I like to support folks like that. So there is something to be said, and this is stuff that goes through my mind all the time, for selling on one platform, for selling a niched down category. It's just not me. I think for everything sellers, I really do think if you're doing it because you need the money, for instance, and this is your full-time income and you're going to be an everything seller, then yeah, I think that cross-listing, of course, we use List Perfectly and we talk about that, but there's something to be said, and there's always a link below, and you can use that. I think we have code Commonwealth. You can get a discount over there. But for those folks that are trying to make this their full-time income, if you have a steady supply of, or can create a steady supply of a niched down category, I think there are some serious considerations to doing it just that way. And if nothing else, psychologically, right? You're not doing it necessarily for the love of the cool stuff you find like I do, or like a lot of hobby sellers do out there. I think there's something to consider, but for me, it's not going to happen. And I just wanted to put this out there to get some advice from those people who do niche down and what the category is, if you're willing to share it. I know there's just jewelry sellers, there's just glass sellers, there's just clothing sellers, there's just shoe sellers, there's just toy sellers, vintage toy sellers. You know, just different categories, and you can niche down and be successful. Not for me, like I said. I just don't think I could stomach not going out on Saturdays and looking for one particular type of item. I couldn't pass up all the things I know are worth money. It's just too much fun. I don't want to do it, but it is a consideration for some folks. The next one, I used a little editing magic. I pre-pulled it earlier because I knew I'd have to dig to the bottom of this bin to find it, so it still should be on top unless somebody came in here and messed with it, which is highly unlikely. There it is right there. It's a FedEx Pit Crew Joe Gribbs Racing shirt. This is all pure profit. It came from a massive buy at the, what the heck was that one? Escape from the Interstate sale. 2XL FedEx shirt. It's over $20 plus shipping. Sold a Mickey Mouse pin. This is by a name, let's see, what's the name? Wendy Gell, G-E-L-L, gold tone Mickey Mouse brooch pin. I think I undersold it, to be honest. The comps were a little funky, and I'm like, I don't want to sit around forever. So we'll put it out there pretty cheap. And somebody used my code to buy it. I think that, no, I take it back. This might have been a send offer because it sold for $14. That's not it. And 20 cents plus shipping. There it is right there. And I looked up the little name on the back. And there are some of this person's stuff sells for really good money. But I'll take it. $14.20 plus shipping. That one reminds me of Rod, actually. Picking and Punching, my buddy down there in Florida who does tons of Disney stuff. And he hasn't niched down. He's still an everything seller. But boy, I can only imagine how successful he's been selling both on eBay and on Whatnot, focusing not entirely on Disney items and Disney pins, but all kinds of Disney stuff. He's had a ton of success doing that because he lives in an area where he can consistently source that stuff like crazy. And so for him, I could see the consideration of maybe not giving up at being an everything seller, but really focusing and looking for those kind of things because he's doing so well at it that it makes sense for him. Sold a Chanel number 22, 1/3 full, $20 plus shipping on that one. One thing I just don't have the patience for, and I don't know, maybe I should because I'm a history teacher, is ephemera. You saw me sell off that lot of letters, and hopefully whoever bought that out there is making some good money, those really old ones. But I've got a few more ephemera lots that just sit around and I just don't do anything with. And I've just decided that if and when I buy those lots, unless there's something that's obvious and easy to like pull out and list independently, I'm just going to sell them off together. So I have to get them really, really cheap because I'm selling them off in a large auction. So if I can buy something for 20 bucks and I know I can auction it off for 200, even though, you know, I could probably get an ephemera person who's niched down could probably get $1,000 or $2,000 for it. I do it with comic books too, to my own peril, because I just don't like going through them and figuring it out and the condition and whatever. But somebody, you know, being the middleman isn't that bad of a deal to me. Or if you're niched down, you're never the middleman. You're getting those things you can source online from people like me, auctions, and just focus on what you know, because you can go through a pile of stuff and already sort them without having to look every single thing up because you know, because you've sold it before. Now, I have cornered the market on these guys here. So, little Fleet Enaman headed out of here. Thank you to a viewer. And we had one viewer sale up to this point, I believe. And this one is number 2. And we have 2 more coming up. So, thank y'all for that. This one's going to Troy. And Troy and Deborah have always been supportive of us. So, thank you. It's me again. I've won 2 of the Christmas ornaments. And now I finally won the plush and getting stickers that I don't have. LOL. Keep up all the good content on your videos, as you have so much to share with fairly new resellers. Thank you for all you do. God bless you and your family. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it gets things moving in your store this year. And I hope all of your stores are doing okay. I know it can be a strange month. You know, those tax refund checks, though, are coming soon, and that usually gives a little bump to eBay sellers. People have a little bit of extra money. Even sold another Steelers, damn it, doggo. $12.95 for that one, plus shipping. And now I just read this message. This is from Leroy, Blood, Sweat, and Sell. And talk about a niche down seller. This is amazing how this stuff kind of lines up to what I'm talking about. Leroy over there, he's on the Reseller Information Network. He's one of the guys who runs the one-stop shop over there on District as well, which is not a niche down category at all. It's an everything lot, reseller lots and stuff like that. Matter of fact, by the time you see this video, I don't know when this video comes out, but I will probably have done an auction over there on One Stop Shop with all the stuff that I'm talking about that I don't want to niche down into at all. I don't even really want to deal with. I just want to make a quick buck on it and get it gone and let the people who are niche down make some money. He's a Steelers fan, and he is extremely niche down. He does only tools. I go picking with him up here at the 100 Mile Sale up here, and all those guys, and they're fairly niche down. Eric, OBX Picker, is not. He's like me, he just buys everything. But the other 3 guys are fairly niche down, and they pass up on stuff. They won't pass up on awesome stuff that is going to make them money, but they'll pass up on stuff. And Leroy will literally pass up on all kinds of stuff because he stays in his niche. And he does really, really well at it. He sells tools, and only tools. The next one is something I love to sell, of course, plush. I thought it was back here because I saw it sticking out, but I just peeked over here and saw it. It's a 1992 Lions Baby Bop. It's an old one, little vintage one, and it doesn't sell for much, but I can't pass them up. I just love old stuff, even though it wasn't my cup of tea back in the day. And that one sold for $10 plus shipping. And this one went to Steven. He says he's a huge fan of the show and enjoys it. Wife saw this while watching a video. It was on your shelf, which is what made me think of that when I peeked over here real quick. We've been considering going full-time flipping and may do so this year. Watching your episodes have really helped. Well, thank you. One big thing is we love how your sales are realistic. None of these typical YouTube massive sales that are very rare. I don't know about that. You know, I mean, I've seen some YouTube sales. I know a lot of these people, like Dave's comic book thing, for instance, you know, and we sold that $1,750 VHS that nobody believes is real, but you know, it is. I don't know what to tell you. We sold that Richard Petty thing last year, that small little pit crew for $750, so, or 700, I can't remember. We've had quite a few. I've had many sales in the thousands over the years. I don't know about many. I've had a few. I've had many sales over 500. For sure, but at any rate, thank you, and I appreciate that. I mean, it's realistic because I source basically only at garage sales. Now, occasionally we'll do a private pick or something like that, an occasional thrift store, and some different stuff like that I've bought online from some folks before, and friends have had opportunities for massive buyouts, and we've done that from time to time. But most of it's from garage sales. And so you thrifters and you garage sellers out there, you know that this stuff isn't sitting everywhere, but it is out there. I mean, you saw the vase or whatever that thing was here in Virginia, 100 and something. I mean, that's just crazy. And they're out there, and that's what keeps people at it, right? Finding those huge, crazy buys. But it is the bread and butter that makes it for most people. And as I go pick the next item, it's Rust Belt Resales. I think that's what it is. That's your eBay store. You said channel, so maybe you have a YouTube channel too. I'm not quite sure, but anyway, that's your eBay store. And speaking of huge buys, I thought when I walked into this sale, I saw some things. This is, I think this is Ninja Turtles, I believe, Bandai, and although it might not be, I think it is though. And this one was broken, and I saw some other stuff. I'm like, holy cow! And I just kept searching and searching for like the mother lode somewhere, and I just never found it. But there's a few little things that I picked up, even though they're not great sellers. This would have been a good seller if had it not been broken off and had some issues with it, but I still bought it, and it still sold for $12 plus shipping. This next one is gone, and I'm glad it is, because it's been taking up this middle space in here for way too long. It is this hat. It is, I think it's a Fifth Avenue fedora, I believe. I hope this is the right box, because I'm tired of having that there. I'd like to put some different things in there. Pick up some space. Have not been selling shoes lately. Disappointment for me, but I'm not a very good shoe seller. Let's make sure this is the right one. Yep, this is the right one. I hear somebody at my door. $35 plus shipping. All right, y'all, I had to film 2 of these in a row because Reagan is headed out of town here, and then I'm headed out of town for a couple of days. So we are selling the absolute fire out of these Q1 stickers. Thank y'all for all the support for those folks who buy those 4 stickers a year. Thank you, and thank you to Just Be Crafting as well. Reagan, you want to show it to them?
Anton.
Yep, Anton was his name. You got Anton bought the Q1 sticker. Did I say Q4 in the last video? I hope I didn't, but
maybe.
Q1 sticker for this year. And it's bigger than the rest of them, just FYI.
Yeah.
Much bigger, actually. You can see. Much bigger. Because it's a giant enema man. And we appreciate all your support. And so does Reagan. And all the other folks who have bought them, we will eventually get to your thank you. So thank you very much.
Bye. And don't forget to get your sticker at CommonwealthPicker.com.
And I almost forgot. Donald sent us these pictures. Reagan was looking at them. I'm like, oh, I forgot to show everybody. Check it out. He has been supporting you and all your arts and crafts and stuff. He's got the backside showing with your autograph instead of the painting on the front side. But he's got, look, he's got 1, 2, 3, he's got 4. Well, wait, no, he doesn't. 1, 2, 3. Missing the original Enema Man one, the green one. But thank y'all very, very much. Very kind, very supportive of Reagan, too. So thank you. All right, Turner and Sophie's got some Commonwealth comedy. What do you got?
Why do zombies only date smart girls?
Why do zombies only date smart girls? I don't know.
They just love a woman with brains.
You're funny. They just love a woman with brains. Thank you, Turner.
Bye.
So let me know in the comments below if you are making any serious changes, big changes, kind of platform style changes, or niche down, not niche down, or philosophical changes to your eBay store in 2024. And if you don't mind leaving the rationale down there below so the rest of us can learn a little bit from you and from your experience as well. Thank y'all for joining us, and I can't wait to see you next time.